Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Crowdfund Sport webinar. I am Anna. I am from Crowdfunder, and for obvious reasons, we can't hold our workshops on location at the moment. So we're bringing them to you from our homes into your homes. Hopefully by today's end of today's workshop, you'll leave knowing more about crowdfunding and the Active Together Fund to help you prepare to crowdfund for your sports organisation. And at the end, you'll be sent a link to the Learn platform, which will show you how to crowdfund, giving you the tools to raise the money to make your idea happen. So before we begin, a couple of housekeeping points to let you know. So we've allowed 30 minutes for the session, but it might take a bit more or less depending on the questions at the end. If you do have a question, please ask it, type it into the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll try and make sure that we get all the questions answered today in the live session. And as you're probably aware, most of us are, again, working from home, so anything might happen. Our internet might drop out. We might have noisy husbands come in, for example. Please bear with us. And finally, in any case, if you're wondering, no one can see you, so you can be sitting in your pajamas. Don't worry. You can all see us, but we can't see you. So today we are going to be hearing from a dedicated crowdfunding coach for Crowdfund Sport, Chloe. We're going to be hearing from someone who's crowdfunded before, and we'll be asking what worked and what didn't work in making their campaign a success. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Chloe.
Hello.
Hi, Chloe. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very, very well, thank you.
And Happy New Year, everyone.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year. First webinar of the new year as well.
Fingers crossed we're not too out of practice.
Exactly. So firstly, for those who don't know, can you tell us a bit about crowdfunding?
Sure. So crowdfunding is a great way of raising money and awareness for your organisation through engaging with your community. You'll set up a page on our online platform and it might look a little like this one here. And don't worry if you're not too tech savvy, our team of engineers have done a brilliant job to make the platform really user friendly. On your page, you should outline who you are as a club, your impact in the community, and why you're crowdfunding. So for many of you here, I expect that will be the effects that COVID-19 has had on you as an organisation. You can add loads of images, videos to make your page more engaging and add a bit more personality. And you will then promote that page or campaign to your crowd. Those that want to support you or perhaps fancy one of your rewards will make a pledge to help you reach your goal. To help you make the most of your campaign, as Anna mentioned briefly, we have put together an online learning platform especially designed for crowdfunding for sport. We'll share all the tips and tricks you need to run a successful campaign. It's really important to make sure that you are happy with your page before you go live and before applying for any extra funding, because your application will be reviewed, the form, but also your application will be reviewed on your project page as well. Now, I mentioned something called rewards earlier. Here at Crowdfunder, we are the top rewards-based crowdfunding platform. That means that we offer projects the option of adding rewards to their page in addition to the standard donation that you'd perhaps associate with traditional fundraising. Sorry. Rewards encourage larger and more pledges and enables you to attract pledges from outside your network. So let me give you an example. This is Hawkgate Park Community Sports Club. They, like many of you here, have been affected financially by the pandemic, so they decided to crowdfund with us to help keep their club afloat. They created a fab page with loads of details on the club. They had lots of images and videos. But my favourite part of their campaign was their rewards. They really thought about who's in their network, who might pledge on their campaign. So they had plenty of sports-focused rewards, like archery lessons and tennis coaching and so on. But they also branched out to appeal to the wider community. They reached out to local businesses who offered products to use as rewards, such as cakes, hampers. I think there was an afternoon tea for two, discounted haircuts, MOTs, loads of bargains to bring in that wider audience that perhaps wouldn't necessarily pledge on the page just out of pledging a donation, but maybe they want a discount from their local suppliers. Now, these guys managed to raise over £32,000 from 273 supporters. So clearly that technique worked for them. Crowdfunder have teamed up with Sport England with an aim to help clubs like you guys who focus on bringing sport to the community but have struggled financially due to COVID. Part of this initiative is the Active Together Fund. Sport England have made a whopping £2.5 million available in match funding as part of this fund. Each fund can receive up to a maximum of £10,000 from the Active Together Fund, or up to a maximum of 50% of their project target. To be eligible to receive match funding, organisations must be not-for-profit. They must deliver sport or physical activity to the community in England. And it's important that you must reach 100% of your target in order to receive that extra funding. On the next page, I have demonstrated how it works. So you'll start crowdfunding and apply for the Active Together funding. Once you meet 25% of your target and the required supporter numbers, that's when the pledge will go onto your page and go towards your target. I mentioned required supporter numbers. This depends on your target. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to start crowdfunding for my sports club. We've got a target of £10,000. On the table at the bottom there, you can see that that means I need 50 unique supporters or more. So as soon as I raise at least 25% of my target from at least 50 supporters, the Active Together pledge will go onto my campaign and push me closer towards my target. Once you've received that, you must go on to reach 100% to secure the extra funding. But then once you reach 100%, you don't have to stop. We offer the option of adding a stretch target. This is designed to stop your campaign looking complete and give your crowd a reason to continue supporting you past your goal. You can add a little message as to what you're going to spend that funding on as well, and it gives you an extra little boost towards the end of your campaign. Now, you guys are at an advantage here because sport crowdfunds really well, and that makes sense if you think about it. Crowdfunding is all about communities getting together to cheer for a common goal. And I think you'll agree with me that the same can be said about sports. I've included on this slide some examples of sports clubs that have actively crowdfunded with us. You will see a whole range on the website, from rugby, cricket, swimming, diving, archery, whatever your sport is. You can crowdfund for it. So hopefully that's given you a bit of food for thought. Anna, I'm going to hand back to you.
Thank you very much, Chloe. Very good to hear. And £2.5 million. Whoa. So there's lots of money up for grabs. So thank you, Chloe. Next up, we're going to hear from Julie, who has raised an impressive £20,159 for Newcastle's swim team in December. So if you have any questions for Julie, then definitely pop them in the box on the right-hand side while we speak. Hi, Julie, are you there?
Hello. Hi, Anna. Hi.
Hi, Julie. Thanks for coming onto the webinar. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Brilliant. So your project raised over 20 grand from 180 supporters, which is absolutely fantastic. Could you tell us a little bit about your project?
The project was, obviously, we're Newcastle swim team. We're one of the largest clubs in the Northeast. We have about 250 current members. The project was every grassroots organisation runs events, and we're no exception. And we gain a lot of income from the events that we run every year. So our event income would be anywhere between £25,000 and £30,000 profit per year to support the club. So the project was really to look at how we fill that gap from that loss of income to the club to support the club, so that the members, when they had no swimming, didn't pay membership, and the coaches who are all self-employed, we could still support them through the pandemic.
Amazing. So was the pandemic the reason you sort of decided to crowdfund? Why did you crowdfund in the first place?
We had to start looking, because obviously we do have a reserve, but that was going down rapidly. As I say, galas are how swimming clubs certainly make money, and every swimming club's the same around the country. And you have to look at how that income can be made up in other ways. So we looked at raffles, and then Swim England brought out something called Level X swimming, which was in-house swimming. So we thought, well, okay, we could put that event on. We could then look at how, you know, the members could either pay for a swim or donate for a swim. And then an ex-chairperson actually mentioned crowdfunding and said about the Sport England match funding. So we thought, well, we could actually tie them both up together and maximise how much we could make for the club to fill that gap, basically.
That's brilliant. That's great. And obviously crowdfunding isn't super easy. It takes a lot of work. What did you find was the most sort of difficult part about crowdfunding?
I think it was, firstly, we did a page that was probably a little bit too basic, and the crowdfunding support guys yourselves came back and said, you know, it needs to be a little bit more jazzy. You know, crowdfunding were actually great with the support that they gave. They gave us loads of examples, said, you know, you could look at this, you could look at that. So that was a real, you know, looking at how you said what you needed to say, but didn't say too much to switch people off. You know, we did a video, which, you know, it all takes time and a little bit of effort and pulling lots of people in from other places to give you the assistance that you need. We also found it difficult because obviously we're a swimming club, and a lot of grassroots sports are like this. We're just a constituted club, we're not a legal entity. So it was making sure that we had everything that you need for the wallet piece at the end, where you do actually get your funds, like your constitution signed and dated, and say there's the less of the year old, your bank statements all match up with where your registered address is, like your treasurer. So all that was quite daunting at the very end of the crowdfunding campaign, to think, oh right, we need to get all this together. But apart from that, I think as well, when you crowdfund and you start, you get quite a lot of donations quite quickly, and then it tailed off in the middle quite a lot, and you sit there thinking, oh my goodness, we're not going to hit the target. And then you have a bit of a push towards the end and you get there, which is a really fantastic feeling.
Yeah, I think it's good to hear from your experience that sort of that dip in the middle. We sort of talk about the U-shape, sort of peak at the beginning, peak at the end, and it's during the sort of middle few days, weeks, it can feel a bit quiet and it is a bit scary. I think in that time, it's really good to just keep the conversation going about your crowdfunder, and also sort of make a good plan for the final sort of week. But as you said, it does usually sort of pick up towards the end, because you have that sense of urgency that you've got to hit that target by that certain date. So that's good. And then what did you find worked best when you crowdfunded?
Probably keeping everybody updated, because obviously you can email everybody who's already donated through crowdfunding. And I think as well, because you can tell them how you're doing, that it then spurs people on to, oh, I'll donate another little bit, or I'll send that to my friends and family, and then they donate. We used Twitter a lot as well. We have our own Twitter account at the club, which then reached other people, because there's an organisation in Newcastle called Sport Newcastle who shared that amongst all their donators, which really helped raise the profile of the club as well. So more people then donated. So every time you send out a message to say, this is where we're at, or we've added some rewards as well. It's always a good way that you add rewards as you go, that it gives you something to email people about. I did sneakily look around other crowdfunding pages to see what they'd put on theirs for updates, just looking for some inspiration as to how to word things, which really worked.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I think gaining inspiration from what people have done before and what succeeded and what worked for them, that is what we always suggest with crowdfunding, to look at, there's thousands of previous examples to sort of take that. And with updates, they're really useful during your crowdfunder, but also afterwards. You can definitely keep people in the loop of, what's, when you reopen after hopefully a short closure at the moment, and things like that, to keep the conversation going, because people supported you and want to be part of your journey, sort of not just then when they gave you the money, but also sort of in the rest of the sort of the journey of the business, really.
I think it's nice as well that people can obviously post comments on that make you feel better about your project and better about your club, about how great the club is, or past members. A lot of past members donated to us who said, great club, need to keep it, see it continue. And that's really heartwarming to see that people who maybe swam 10, 20, 30 years ago are still interested in donating to their local club.
Amazing. Yeah, it's a great way of validating that people want it there, which is fantastic. So you had a sort of whole range of great rewards. What do you think worked best, and what did you think worked best for you?
The one-to-one coaching sessions were really, really popular. I could have put 100 of those on, but obviously it's the time that the coaches are giving up to do our one-to-ones with everybody. But they were immensely popular. They went as a reward within the first day, 2 days. And I think as well the rewards, because what we did was we emailed all our members to ask them if they could donate anything for the rewards. And we actually got a couple of people in the club who donated some fantastic things from where they worked. We got baby items, we got luxury candles. I think the things that were not swimming related really helped. The one-to-one coaching was really popular, but they say that, luxury candles, they say there was baby things, there was bubble hats, there was all sorts of different things for people to donate for, which I think is what worked.
Yeah, I think that it's to sorry, it's a bit of echo. I think definitely reaching out to your network to see if that, other people can offer some kind of reward is great. And because there are people who, might not fancy getting a swimming reward. So thinking about all the people that you're going to be reaching out to and the rewards that might tempt them to pledge on your project. And who helped you with your campaign? How did you divide up the workload?
We're very lucky that we've got a volunteer in the club who is a marketing person for a very large organisation. So she helped with the initial page. I updated it, and then we're very lucky that a 16-year-old techie brother of a swimmer did the video for us. It's just beyond my capabilities to do videos. He's done some stuff for us before. He did all the back to swimming videos that we had to do to be COVID secure. It was, do a video so people know what they're doing when they come back. So I asked him if he could do this, and he put together a fantastic presentation video to go on the page, which I think really sells the page. Flat photographs are fine, but somebody talking, our head coach talked on it, and we've cut in with some of the younger swimmers as well. And I think that really brought it home about what it means to people to be part of a club like ours, and what that does in the local community to help people in the local community.
Amazing. Yeah, well, it sounds like a team around you and divided up the workload, which is what sort of helped for a successful campaign. And not everyone is an expert at everything, so having someone to do the video is obviously
that was a real help. That was it. The videos, you look at the videos and go, oh my goodness, I can't do that. Ask a 16-year-old, they just go, yeah, that's no problem, we can do that.
Exactly. So my last question before we open up a bit of a panel with Chloe, what would be your sort of advice for anyone that you would give for someone who is looking to crowdfund themselves?
The mistake that we made was we did it too quickly. We just thought, yeah, this is really easy. Just type a few things in, a few photographs, and crowdfunding came back and said, if you want Sport England's match funding, your page has got to look better. Gave us loads of examples. So I would say get your rewards in before you start your page. Give it a bit of thought. We launched the page and then tidied it up a little bit afterwards. I probably did it in a fortnight, and I probably should have given myself a month to do it. It can be done, but it's just, you've got to put a lot of work in. I think I worked solid on the crowdfunding page for about 3 or 4 days, full days, to get it up running the way that it looks now. So I would just say a bit more time, put aside enough time to do it, get people involved who can help you. Videos, are really, really good. It made a huge difference to our page rather than just a photograph, and list a little bit of help, and then get out to your membership to say, who can offer things, and maybe put those things on more spaced out than I did. I think I put everything on at the beginning and then put 1 or 2 things on afterwards. And I think if I'd done it again, I would have put more things on spaced out to keep interest generated. I think would have helped.
Yeah, as you said, like it's good to have back in terms of the rewards that you can add in part through. Firstly, it sort of generates more conversation, but also, some people who would have pledged already might see another reward that you offer, and they might pledge that second time. So
we had that quite a lot. We had people who pledged 2 and 3 times. We had, a few little swimming things on that people could pledge for, little drawstring bags, and they would also pledge for something else that wasn't swimming related. And then if you sent the message out again, then quite a few people came back on and put another 50 quid in, which got us over the finish line at the end.
Oh, fantastic. Good. So I'm going to invite Chloe back. Are you around, Chloe? Hello. So
hi.
Thank you very much, Julie, for that. I've got lots of questions that have been popping up, which is really good. So I'm going to just distribute between the two of you. So let's go to the first question. So question 1 from Michael. How much money is left in the pot? I guess that's a question for you, Chloe.
Good question. So we have so far distributed just over 1.3 million, which sounds like a lot, but it means that there's just under 1.2 million in the pot. So there's plenty available. Do be aware that it is distributed on a first come, first served basis, and it is limited, but there's plenty of time at the moment.
Brilliant. Another question actually about the funding is that hypothetically, this is from Mark, could you have one wealthy supporter providing, say, £9,951 and then 49 providing £1 each? Is that still okay?
I think that would probably be seen as gaming the system, and our team would have to look into that to see to check it out in a bit more detail, and I think our extra funding partners might have something to say. So don't do that, please. But if supporters, don't discourage anyone from pledging large amounts. Just try and encourage other people to pledge lots too.
Yeah, our support team are very rigorous, so we'll check that out. So Terry is asking, how long does the crowdfunding campaign go on for? Perhaps, Julie, you can say how long yours went on for, and then Chloe can talk a bit about it as well.
Ours was, I think, 50 or 60 days, but you could choose whichever you wanted. I think we just went for a middle ground, that we thought we could raise the money in that amount of time to give us enough time. It's one of those things I think that I struggled with it at the beginning. Should I make it short? Should I make it long? And I think we just went in the middle to give ourselves enough time.
I would usually I recommend people run a campaign for about 4 weeks. You can set it anywhere between 2 and 8 weeks. If it's too long, you will exhaust yourself and potentially your audience as well. You don't want to be working on this, as Julie said, it's hard work. You don't want to be doing it for months and months and months. So keep it short and snappy. 4 weeks gives you enough time to get through the whole plan of running the campaign without completely exhausting yourself.
Good answer, very true. So a question from Hester. Julie, how did you decide your target besides what you needed, a target that you could reach? She's from Hackney Aquatics, so she was saying that they have lots of members on bursaries and low income, so nervous about what to expect as donations. So perhaps you can answer that, Julie.
I think because we have quite a wide membership base. We have a very middle class club, for want of a better word. We just asked people to donate what they could. Some people donated £5, some people donated £250, and I think it's everybody's individual circumstances. We decided we thought with the membership base that we had, that we charged no fees for, it was 3 months during the first lockdown, and our fees vary from £40 to £110 a month. So parents hadn't had to pay that because we didn't think parents should pay when they didn't have any service. And we were confident that we could raise £10,000. It was a little bit tough towards the end, but the rewards I think really helped with that. I think the one-to-one coaching brought in probably about £1,000 of the £10,000 that we had donated. So I think it's thinking about your rewards as well, what you're offering. One-to-one coaching is always popular.
Awesome.
Can I jump in there as well? Yeah, I completely agree with Julie. Yes, think about your members. They're going to be the obvious initial pledges. But if you've got rewards that tempt the wider community, you're not limited to just your membership base. You've got the whole local area that may want to support you, especially if you've got some tempting rewards in there.
Brilliant, that's great. And then let's go to Robert. Julie, were your donations from private individuals or companies?
It was all private individuals. We did have a corporate package on there, but nobody took that up. We did get another £1,000 donation from Sport England because of the campaign, but because they're another organisation who obviously the right checks, they don't donate through crowdfunding. So we did get another £1,000 from a local sports charity. So that 20,000 is actually 21,000 because they gave us money as well. But no, all the donations are from individuals. It was a lot of members, probably 80% members, and then there was a few people who were family members of members, friends of members, and ex-members of the club who, had children swimming 10, 20 years ago who donated as well. So it was quite a variety of people donated.
Now there are a few questions that I think we've already answered, but I'll just quickly answer them for. So Anna asked, is there a time limit to crowdfunding? Does it have to be 1 month, or could it be longer? Chloe, or both of you explained it could be longer than that. But yeah, as Chloe suggested, 4 weeks is probably our recommended amount. Jay asked, what did you choose for your target? I think you said, was it £10,000 then originally, Julie?
Yeah.
Cool. So that hopefully answers your question, Jay. Lots more coming through. Sue asked, at the beginning of the first lockdown, we received assistance from Sport England Community Fund. Would this eliminate us from Sport England match funding if we were to crowdfund? Chloe, you might be able to answer that.
Because it's been a long time since that fund from Sport England, it is possible that you may still be eligible to receive Active Together funding. My advice would be to contact Sport England and have a chat with those guys, because they have the ultimate decision.
Perfect. Peter is asking about annual membership fees or match fees count towards crowdfunding as donations. So I think that Julie, you might be best to answer that question about the annual membership fees.
Our annual membership fee is obviously different to our monthly squad fees, and we did think towards the end, if we didn't get to the, if it was 5 days to go and we weren't at the target, about offering an annual membership on a discount, but in the end we didn't have to do it. But you could do it. Was one of the things that we thought of we may do if we were, a couple of £1,000 short, to say, we're going to give you a 25% discount on your annual membership.
Yeah, I think you can put them up there, but just be aware that this fund isn't about matching membership fees. It's about becoming, raising your profile in the area. The whole concept of crowdfunding is more about raising money where perhaps you wouldn't normally get that money. So it's not a fund simply to match membership fees, because you wouldn't need to crowdfund for that.
Cool. There's a question about gift aid. Chloe, do you know, are donations available to include gift aid?
Yes, you can claim for gift aid. When you set up rewards, there's a little button for each one to determine which ones are eligible. And if you take a look on the HMRC website, it will detail that in a bit more, give you a bit more information on what's eligible and what's not.
Brilliant. Natalie is asking about the number of supporters that she needs to get the match funding. Will you send out that information afterwards, Chloe?
Yeah, I will follow up with a replay of this webinar, and you'll have the slide deck on there, so you can take a look through. And it's also on the T's and C's on the website as well.
Perfect. We've still got lots of questions to get through, so we'll I think we'll sort of keep going for a bit, and then for another 5 minutes or so. So Simone asking, how did you price the rewards, Julie?
I asked some of them. I asked the people who donated them what they were worth, and as a reward, the people who were donating them were obviously donating them for free. So anything we got for them was a bonus. So I think I did some of them at 75%, 25% off, or a 30% off, or a 50% off. I think it just depended on what you thought what the value would be to other people to donate. What was a reasonable donation for that item?
Yeah, I think that's spot on, Julie. You want to be encouraging people to pledge, and if you've put it out for more expensive than it's worth, they're just going to go direct. So you need to engage with them and really tempt them. So I always recommend adding the RRP on the reward as well, so they can see that they're getting a bargain.
Yeah, exactly. So Carl is asking about what has been the experience for new crowdfunders getting rewards engagement from local businesses during the total lockdown restrictions. Perhaps, Chloe, you might be able to...
This fund has been a response to COVID the whole way through. We're in lockdown, 3 now? So you can have a look through all the campaigns that have been running throughout, and many of those were during a lockdown. I think, yes, it is a difficult time for everyone, but also we found people are particularly generous at the moment. They can see that they need to be supporting local organisations. So people seem to be digging a bit deeper at the moment, if anything.
Perfect. Chris is asking, do you need to set your target to include or exclude the match funding? That's one for you, Chloe.
Yeah, so the match funding goes towards your target. So it will boost you up from 25% and it will take you further towards your target. So include it.
Perfect. And I think that answers Tom Pond's question about the funding. And then we've got another question about rewards, actually going a bit back to rewards. Karen's asking, is it a condition that you have to have rewards? Obviously it's better, but nervous about asking the same pool of people, sort of members and families, to donate and or supply rewards as they're already paying membership fees.
If you're going for Sport England extra funding, then yes, you do need to include rewards on your page. This fund is all about learning to crowdfund to the best of your abilities and ultimately becoming more sustainable and less reliant on grants, because we can't guarantee they're always going to be there. And rewards are the best way of doing that.
Another rewards-based question from Anna. She's asking, does every donation need to receive a reward?
No, you can offer donations as well. So I could pledge you on your project a tenner, for example, and not expect anything in return. Take a look at some other pages as an example, and you'll see at the top there's a button that says donate, and then lower down there's the rewards there, and they can opt for whichever they wish.
Brilliant. I think there's just one or two more questions. Actually, both from Michael. I'll go back to. So, is there a charge on donations? What are the charges then, Chloe?
So we've waived our platform fee. So it's just the payment provider, which is 1.9%. And that will come out of the amount that you raise. So we won't ask for any upfront payments.
And you can find all of the sort of fee information on the website as well. It's probably good to go and have a look at that if you type in crowdfunder fees. And then Michael's also asking about the match funding. Is it still 50% matched, or has it reduced?
It's up to 50%. It depends on various things such as IMD docile. They want to make sure that they're supporting those clubs that are really in need and they get sort of the most. But yeah, it's up to 50% still, yes.
Brilliant. And another question from Anna, actually, and I think this will be the final question. How do the rewards get allocated? For example, if a reward is archery lessons, how many lessons do you have to offer? Chloe, that's probably another one for you.
You can offer as many as you have available. So in Julie's case, for example, you were offered some I think you said candles as a reward. How many were you given?
15.
15. So you can limit that. So as soon as they've all sold out, the reward kind of goes grey and you can't click on it anymore. Yeah, so you can limit it to how many is available.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. I think that's all the questions. Julie and Chloe, you've been amazing. We've fired a lot at you, and I think that's all we've got time for today. But it's really great to hear from someone who's been there and done it. So thanks, Julie, for joining us.
You're welcome.
I'm sure you've inspired lots of people in the audience. So thank you. And Chloe, can I ask you, what are the next steps for the audience?
Yes, of course. Let me jump back onto that presentation. Where are we? Yeah, so hopefully everyone has a better idea of what crowdfunding is all about and how it might help you as an organisation. Next step is time for you to become the expert. So jump onto our online learning platform, learn about how to plan, create and run a successful campaign.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Chloe, and thanks again to Julie. Please do follow the link to the Learn platform to take the next step in your crowdfunding journey. And thank you very much for watching, everyone, and take care.